Peace. Good morning. How y'all doing? Um, want to share an interesting article with you. This is from the Washington Post. I'll see if this shows. I'm not sure how that. Okay, you might be able to see a little something. But basically says a Harvard scientist is developing a DNA-based dating app to reduce genetic disease. Critics call it eugenics. Very interesting article. Very interesting article. Um, So there's this Harvard geneticist by the name of George Church. And he's also one of the founders of Colossal Biosciences in Texas that's also doing genetic sequencing of extinct species. His company is the same one that I spoke about in my prior video that wants to resurrect the woolly mammoth, the Tasmanian tiger, and the thylacine marsupial through genetic engineering and sequencing. But he also is founder of an online dating app called Digidate. Digidate. DIGID 8, the number 8. And what it is the mission, the purported mission of Digidate by George Church is to reduce the passage and spread of genetic diseases and abnormalities in the human population by helping people make conscious, selective dating decisions and choices on who they date based on their human genome, their genetic profile. And what that would entail is that people would they would sign up for this. They would sign up to this dating app. They would subscribe to it, Digidate, and they would also submit a sample of their DNA to the company. The company would then have their DNA fully sequenced and analyzed and reviewed for any type of chromosomal abnormalities or chromosomes that potentiate a specific genetic disorder. And so to kind of talk about that, you have genetic disorders such as like cystic fibrosis, Tay-Sachs disease for African Americans and those along the African diaspora, genetics wise, we're familiar with sickle cell. And there's a lot of, there's a whole, you have Huntington's disease. There's a plethora of genetic disorders that permeate the human species, and they cause a lot of devastating and debilitating diseases, very awful. And so it can be very uncomfortable. It can be painful. It can very much inhibit the joys of life, right? It can be very, very expensive for the therapies and treatment, right? So many, I can understand one end of the spectrum. Whereas you want to say, look, I want to reduce the risk or minimize the risk of, if I happen to procreate with somebody that I'm attracted to, rather than hoping, guessing, or thinking that maybe we may share two recessive traits for sickle cell or cystic fibrosis or whatever genetic abnormalities are out there, rather than guessing, wandering, thinking, and hoping that we don't share these recessive traits that can cause these debilitating genetic disorders, why not just get sequenced and I'll know whether I should or should not procreate with this person or date this person, right? Seems sound, seems like maybe a logical way to look at, dating. This is how some people may look at it. I'm not saying that's how I would approach it, but this is how some people may look at it, right? So anyway, with DigiDate, you would subscribe to the app, you would submit a DNA sample to them, they'd sequence, analyze your DNA, and then what they do, this is what's interesting, if you share certain genetic recessive chromosomal aberrations that cause genetic disease, you won't even see the profile. Basically, they'll block profiles. So it's kind of like if you're on Tinder or even on Facebook, how you like, oh, okay, this is a friend of mine, or you may see somebody that you like. If, per se, you have a sickle cell trait that's recessive, I have a sickle cell trait that's recessive, our profiles you won't even be able to see it. They completely block it. So we won't even be in each other's algorithms to even possibly mate on that profile. Now, but what if I'm not interested in having kids? What if I can't have kids? We'll never meet, right? But also, the bigger question is, one, who controls, safeguards all this DNA in this database? And what else are you doing with the DNA that you have procured from all these millions of subscribers to this dating app, right? And then it's the eugenics part. Now you're getting into the whole, we get into probabilities. Okay, now I know, okay, I can I want this specific look and this specific trait. Then, it's a very slippery slope that we have to be aware of. Now, they're saying that somehow they will encrypt the DNA results so that the users don't know. But then how do you, I guess you would have to, if they're going to encrypt it so that the users don't know what their DNA sequence abnormalities are, then what it sounds like is you would have to submit to them the different genetic diseases that you don't want, and they'll be the ones to exclude other people and subscribers that would have the genetic recessive gene, so that you guys would never meet. But anyway, What are your thoughts on this? DigiDate by George Church, submitting your DNA for a dating app, right? Tinder on another level. Plenty of fish on another level. What are your thoughts? Implications, ramifications, consequences, and repercussions. Thoughts. Peace.